All right, everybody, with the lesson today and reading Sojourner Truth's speech, now that we've read it, we're going to go over the key terms for today and just relate them back, tell you guys the definitions of them, relate them back to how they relate to her speech here. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. First off, we have intersectionality. Intersectionality is the concept that multiple identities such as race, gender, and class overlap to create unique experiences of discrimination and privilege. So how do we use this? Does anybody have an idea? All right. Well, Sojourner Truth is a Black woman, obviously, and she is also a woman. And we could say that she is also from possibly a lower class. All of these things together with intersectionality create an overlapping experience for her to experience discrimination in different ways. We all know at this point the fight for Black freedom was going on, and at the same time, many women didn't have many freedoms as well. So all of these things overlapping together create that unique experience for her. Second, we have double consciousness by W.E.B. Du Bois. Which is an internal conflict felt by African Americans and other marginalized groups, caused by having to see themselves through the eyes of the society that holds prejudiced views. So do you guys remember who was her main audience for these? It was white men. So she speaks to these people, but she's also seeing herself through them by the prejudice that they show, by the things that they say to her. She's seeing herself through that society. Rhetorical question. We see this in the title, Ain't I a Woman? It is a question asked to create a dramatic effect or to prove a point rather than get an answer. And that's exactly what she's doing when she's saying, Ain't I a woman? With emotional appeal. Emotional appeal is a persuasive strategy that uses emotions like happiness, fear, or sadness to influence an audience's attitudes and behavior. So we watched the speech being read by another person. I don't know if you've noticed the influx of her voice at some points where she would get really high or get much louder and then get much quieter. This is supposed to inflict something in the reader, whether that be happiness or anger toward the situation that she's posing to them. But she uses a lot of emotional appeal in her words and in the way that she gives her speech in order to get sort of a response from her audience. With structure. Structure is the arrangement and organization of words, sentences, and paragraphs to create a logical flow of ideas that makes writing easy for the reader to understand. So we looked at this when we looked at the actual speech when I gave you the handout, and how she structured it, what paragraphs she decided to put, the organization of her words, the word choice that she decided to use, all of that goes into the structure. And we're going to go in later on today and kind of break that down and see how that affected the impact of her speech. Freedom. Freedom is the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without restraint or interference. So obviously, in this speech, she is fighting for her freedom against the white people who are maybe in the audience that she's talking to. Same for discrimination and prejudice. Discrimination is treating someone unfairly or less favorably based on their membership in a protected group, and prejudice is preconceived opinion that is not based on reason or actual experience. So both of these are also something that she is fighting against. So she doesn't want this discrimination. She doesn't want to be treated unfairly, or unfavorably, my apologies. And she also doesn't want these preconceived notions. We can see them in, again, her audience, the white males that she may be talking to. They all already have a prejudice against her that she is getting up in front of them and trying to break apart. All right, what is an advocate? Someone who supports or promotes the interests of a cause or person, either by acting as a legal representative or acting as a spokesperson. So obviously, this is a speech. Sojourner Truth would be a spokesperson toward Black rights, toward women's rights. She is an advocate against all of those things. And finally, here we have equality, which is the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, and opportunities. Which one of those three do we see here? Status, rights, or opportunities? Kind of all three. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say rights more than all of them. She's definitely fighting for her rights, but yeah, great job.